Okay, hey, welcome back to Two Blurred Girls Live this
Hey,
time because I forgot to press the
thank
live
you for having
button.
me. Hey, it
I'm
was a good
Tamika.
practice run.
Yeah, I'm Tamika, and we have special guest John from Movie Lovers Unite.
Thank you again for having me. I do
Yeah,
appreciate it.
yes, thanks for coming, John. We appreciate you always.
You're very
Like I
welcome. It's
mentioned,
always a pleasure to be here.
oh yeah, Tamara's on a brief hiatus, but she'll be back December 17th. And the show must go on, as you know. So that's what we're doing.
Definitely.
Yes. And we are reviewing Netflix The Harder They Fall, which is a 2021 film. It stars Idris Elba, Zaza
Jonathan
Beetz,
Majors,
Jonathan Majors, Regina King, Delroy Lindo.
Delroy Lindo. Yep.
Yeah. And who am I leaving anybody else out?
Laketh,
Oh,
that's how you say her name?
Lakeith. Yeah, Lakeith.
Like
Yeah.
you see.
Mhm.
And you can definitely
Yeah.
tell I'm white because I didn't know how to pronounce that.
Hey, Brandy.
RJ Tyler, Danielle Didweiler, Eddie
Uh-huh.
Gethergini, I
Uh-huh.
don't know,
Yep. Mhm.
Theon Cole, and yeah, this movie, I think I'm gonna
Don't
let you go
mind the
ahead and open
dog
up.
in the background. I don't know what neighbor's dog that is, but he must not know I'm doing a podcast tonight. He just, yes, yes. Welcome to the show, dog. Welcome to the show. Thank you. Um, anyway, um, so yeah, so the harder they fall, it is basically about this outlaw named Nat Love. He discovered his enemy Rufus Buck, which is played by Idris Elba, is breaking out of jail basically from a jail transport. So his gang broke him out of jail. So Nat Love, which is played by Jonathan Majors, has decided to get back in the game and get his old gang back, the Nat Love gain, so that they can go seek revenge on Rufus Buck, who murdered his family when he was 11. And that's
Yeah,
basically the
and
premise
I
of
just want to
it.
say the opening scene you in
Mhm,
right from the beginning
mhm.
because it feels like an inglorious kind of situation. As a matter of fact, I ended up before we started. It feels like a inglorious bastard scene where the Jewish people are hiding, the other Jewish people are boards, and when the Nazis come in, they're all
Yep. Uh-oh, we lost you, John. But but yeah, it does have that inglorious bastards feel to it. Yeah, I know what you're talking about in that scene where in Inglorious Bastards there's a scene where the Nazi police officer comes into a cabin with a family, and I think they're looking for something from the guy. Um and um what was I trying to say? They had the kids hide underneath the boards. But in this movie, like John was saying, because John would be bad had technical problems, but he'll pop back on. In this movie, it is a correlation to that because it opens with Nat Love as an 11-year-old. Oh, John, you back? You back, John? Oh,
okay.
okay,
You hear
go
me?
ahead, John. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, like I was saying, it opens up in this inglorious kind of, and
Hmm.
that scene at the table and everything. They don't even here's when the people come riding on their horse and they don't know who's knocking at the door or anything like that. And the tension is dialed up to a 10, pretty much, with the
Mhm.
tension level. And I liked how they were able to play off that, where all of a sudden you see the father answer the door, and he's horrified. The facial expressions and then his eyes says, "Oh crap, I'm in trouble. I don't know what these guys want." And then they sit at the dinner table where the family are gathered, and they're about to say the prayer and everything to begin with. And then next thing you know, their first goes on ahead, points the guns over to the son or to the father. It goes to the father, then it goes over to the son, then it points the guns over to the mother. And you don't know who he's going to shoot. You're thinking that maybe he might let the woman go and just shoot the father, but instead it winds up being the father and the mother. Also, too, the song that's being played in the background signifies something that the father had done in his past life, and now the person's coming to repay the repercussions that he did in his past life. Because remember, it said 31 years or 33 years in the song, so it's been 33 years or 31 years since his father has done something in his
Mhm.
past life. But what did you think?
Oh yeah, that scene was just horrific. um because you don't really know who the shooters are, like you said. You're just seeing an arm and a gun being pointed and moved from side to side. Um, but yeah, the horrific part of that scene was, after they killed the dad, and I thought they're gonna let the mom go, but they killed her too. And then they pointed a gun to the son, which I thought he was gonna die. But instead, the lead guy gets a dagger and he carves something in his head, in his forehead, which we don't know what it is
Actually,
until it transitions over
it was actually
to,
a
oh, a
it was
shaver.
actually, yeah, like something back in those days where they would actually shave somebody's face. He actually got a thing to shave and cut the cross in the kid's forehead. But at that point, you don't know what he's drawing on the kid's forehead
Yeah,
until later on when you see him as an
yeah,
adult.
yeah. In the
But
next scene, you see him as an
let's talk about.
adult, and yeah, go ahead.
Sorry,
Yeah.
but what I wanted to touch on was this was also too. There's a tattoo of the person that's holding the kid down of a scorpion,
Hmm.
and that's all you
Oh
go
yeah.
off of is the tattoo.
Hmm.
But I also how very beginning with credits, it starts off like a comic book based movie kind of. It also has like a little bit of a Django Unchained kind of vibe to it. Also, too, it also feels like 19 and I said this to Randy though too. I said this feels like a 1970s Western movie. Screaming like she did reminded me of something like from the 1970s kind of Western flavor that you had. Also, too, the big flash of the title also feels like a 1970s kind of vibe with the Westerns, but mixed with a modern day touch of a Western film.
Oh yeah, yeah. It has a good, bad, and ugly vibe to it, like the Western good, bad, and the ugly. Any spaghetti Western, it has that vibe to it, and it reminds me of the remake of the Magnificent Seven. Did you see that?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah,
I like the
yeah,
Magnificent Seven remake.
yeah, yeah. It was okay, but it was good for what it was worth. But yeah, like I said, so they're already setting us up with all these tropes, like the scorpion tattoo. Um, what else did they set us up with? Well, anyway, they're
Revenge
just setting
plot.
up the scene. Yeah, they're setting up the scene for the next scene where you see a man walk into an empty wooden church, and then you see a scorpion tattoo, so you know, oh, okay, so what's going on here? And he's being lured there by this mysterious man, and the man turns around and basically he takes his hat off, and then you see that cross etched into his forehead, and you're like, oh, this is the boy, Nat Love, who is basically seeking his revenge because he's one of the guys who killed his parents. But that scene, that gun scene, that was awesome. That was really
And you
awesome.
see, to be honest with you, I wish they would have held a little bit on the revenge plot for that for like later
Mm,
on, and just go on the journey of this guy seeking. That's
yeah.
what I wanted to see because I thought that's what I was told on was something around that
Hmm.
area. Instead, they wind up killing off the guy that killed his family right off the bat. And then it's like,
Mm,
okay, how do the other characters that we're going to be introduced later on, what does this have to do with his character? They're introducing us into the world of Black Americans who were wanted in the West and stuff like that. But I was wondering, how is this linked up to those characters, and how does it fit in with the narrative? But then once you find out, it actually makes sense. It's just that I wish that they would have held off a little bit to get us to that point where it's like payoff, getting the revenge on that guy, because that's basically what you're sold into in the very beginning, and then they kill him off in like 5-10 minutes into the film. So I didn't really feel
mm.
like a payoff of the payback that I wanted. So that was like the little bit of a negative that I have from it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I guess like you said, if you didn't really know, you would have suspect that this is the main guy that he got his revenge on. But since it's more since the movie is like an hour long, you know, okay, this is just
2 hours.
one of the guys making 2 hours, Jesus. Then you know that okay, this is just one of the side characters that got hit off. But yeah,
Right.
how did since we're comparing this to Inglorious Bastards and it has like this similar vibe, how did Inglorious Bastards begin? Maybe remind me if
It
you
began
can.
with, remember, the Nazi shows up at the Jewish house
Oh,
because
yeah,
they're
Jewish.
hiding Jewish people underneath their house.
Hmm.
And so then False's character comes in, and it's tension. The tension is built up. The family's outside. The father's speaking all of a sudden because he's speaking in Jewish and in German to speaking in English. And
Yeah.
then Christoph Waltz is over there drinking their milk as well because they're farmers.
Hmm.
And it reminds me of that same scene that's been laid out at the very beginning where the guy's sitting down there at the table, but there's no conversation between them or anything. It's him pointing the gun at everybody.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with Randy though. We also thought it was a little bit of tip of the hat to the Inglorious Bastards stuff
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Well, if so, yeah, because that scene in Glorious Bastard, it begins with violence. So in a
yeah,
sorry, that's my sister over there. So in a way, the this scene begins with violence. So it's like it's kind of introducing you like
yes,
this is gonna be a world of violence. So prepare
the
yourself.
tone, right? Also, too, the
Yeah,
blood
yeah, the
splatter
tone is
also
gonna be
reminds you of a
violent.
Tarantino kind of vibe.
Oh yeah, it does. Yep. Yep.
It's
Yeah,
very
I
over
like
the
it.
top
Yeah.
that you don't expect from this film.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. He probably the director, I'm sure it was probably influenced by Tarantino. If you would have seen this movie, you would have thought, did Tarantino direct this movie? Because it has a Hateful Eight vibe. It has a Inglorious
Yeah,
Bastards vibe and some other Tarantino film, Django. So it's like all three of those films in one
Django.
is how what it reminds me of. But anyway, we're
Definitely.
slowly introduced to the rest of the characters. And I just think this movie is a long time coming, to be honest. Because it is about African Americans in the West, and it's, I want to say, maybe the few films where you see a villain and a hero is African American, and majority of the cast is African American too. And I think half of these characters were based on real, um, like villains and the heroes or gangs and outlaws. But I have to go back and research
Right.
on that to make sure.
But it's good to have um, diversity in showing a
Mhm,
different side of the country western genre, rather it
mhm.
be what we've seen for years. And knowing
Oh, yeah.
that there were Black African Americans that were once wanted back in those days made me very enthused into watching this and seeing the way that they do, because they did things differently. Because what the white genre did, what the westerns was, they always covered their face. When we're
Mm,
introduced to the Idris Elba crew, which is that's what I'm calling them, but
mhm.
when we're
Yeah.
introduced to the Idris Elba crew, their
Yeah.
faces are not covered. They,
Uh-uh.
they show the, to be honest with you, they show that they are not going to be taking the money. They're the most threatened
Mhm,
people on earth. We're
mhm,
not here to do violence. We will do violence if we have to
mhm,
as well. They have a
mhm.
way of taking down a train and robbing them. The mix of the music was good though too.
Yeah, the music was, I felt like that was another character in itself in the movie.
Right.
Every song that was picked would just be a foreshadowing what's gonna happen. So this, I would get the soundtrack. It was really good. But yeah, so um Rufus Buck, he's being transported to, I forgot where he's being transported to, but
Well,
what? Go ahead.
hold on. Don't forget though, Love also has a couple of partners on his side though too.
Yeah, yeah, it goes into his gang. Yeah, his
Yeah,
gang,
he's got
um
sharpshooter Bill Prickett.
yeah, his gang, they robbed, which they didn't know, suspect. They didn't know that they were robbing Rufus Buck gang, but they did an
Yeah, to the
ambush
Crimson
on
Hood.
the Rufus Buck gang who just robbed a bank, and they did an ambush and they took his money. And one of Rufus Buck's gang members were like, "Do you know whose money you just took?" And they were like, "We don't care." And they told him, and etc. But what did you think about that scene?
To be honest with you, it makes you know that they're not the only dangerous ones out there,
Yep.
and it gives you a mythology into that other crew. Like, is this
Mhm.
crew really as badass as they say they are? Are they as threatening as they say they are? Or is this just a bunch of hearsay of it? It's like, oh, be careful of this one crew or whatever. But once you see what they, once you wind up seeing the Cherokee Bill and his gang people, then
Mhm.
you realize how dangerous this group is. But at the same time, though, I didn't really feel like Cherokee Bill was that threatening, to be honest. I felt like the woman was more threatening than Bill. I felt like that she was the
Okay, I'll
one
give you that.
who was the front runner, and Cherokee Bill was like, you know what? I'm just going to keep my mouth shut and let and everything on her command stands with everybody. Because when you see her rob the train, Cherokee Bill's not doing it. He's not. He's just knocking on a door, trying to put people like the ones like, no, 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 we're not going to have that. She goes on and goes over there. If you do not,
Oh.
the Civil War bit that's in front of us. Next thing you know, she shoots the Civil War vet in the shoulder. Now that was just a flesh wound. Now watch what's going to happen next whenever you don't answer the door. So I felt like she was more threatening than Cherokee Bill. What about you, though?
Yeah, yeah, that scene was they were trying to break out Rufus Buck because I think he was being transported to
Yep,
a prison somewhere, and oh, I wish I knew her name. But yes, Regina King's character. Um, actually, you know what? This movie
it was
really
Trudy.
opened, huh?
Trudy.
Trudy? Yeah, this movie, it really opens the door to a world of diversity, not only racially but gender wise, because she seems like the forerunner behind Cherokee Bill, who is Lakeith Stanfield's character. She seems like the forerunner because she's the one that has the most commanding presence on the train, and she's like, "I don't want to hurt nobody. We're just here for Rufus," basically. And they had to go through all these carts and just talk to people, and then
Exactly.
Cherokee Bill kind of comes in later on when somebody's trying to challenge her. But yeah, like you said, they get to the last cart, which is full of Union soldiers, I think, and they have a Rufus
Yeah,
Buck in like
U.S.
this
Army
vault.
soldiers.
Unions, yeah, they have Rufus Buck in like
The
this
prison
vault.
guard.
Yeah, it's like some weird vault, and I was like, that's how they transport their prisoners. Okay, well, whatever. Um, but yeah, I felt like that. Well, I felt like that was a smart scene though, because usually those scenes where people are like, okay, I'm gonna count to three, and on the other side of the door, you have somebody with a gun, right? So the genius part of that is that they held one of the union officers' son to the door, and it's like your son's at this door. You can shoot if you want to. So that kind of was put him in like this flux. He's like, okay, well, don't shoot at the door because there's. But anyway, I thought that was pretty genius, just to put like a hostage right at the door, so that they
That's
would be in
ballsy.
conflict. Like, oh, we can't shoot because my son's on the other side of the door. And usually, when you see movies like that, they usually just shoot both sides of the door. But anyway, I thought that was pretty ballsy, like you said, and they led with the boy through and said, "Open the vault, let Rufus Buck go." So I thought that was pretty cool. And when they let him go,
I thought
he
so
did
too.
this gesture where he put his forehead on top of Trudy and then on top of Cherokee. And I'm not sure what that meant, but I've never seen anything like that, even from a villain, to greet his crew with like putting their foreheads on top of each other. So I thought that was pretty interesting, really.
It was like welcoming family again, like being part of the
Hmm.
family that he missed. And
Yeah,
that's what I got
yeah.
out of the whole forehead thing.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah, yeah. I guess
But
like
then,
blood, family, relationships. It was really intimate gesture that he did with all his crew members, greeting them by touching their foreheads with his forehead. So yeah, I thought that
yes.
was pretty
And
interesting.
then it was definitely interesting. And then I like how he gives the command to shoot everybody else in the train, all but the other army soldier who can drive the train.
Yes, very smart. Yes, no
I like
witnesses.
that part.
Yeah.
Yeah. But another thing too that I thought that was very cool was the scene where this big old huge guy is over there and he's supposed to be the hero. And so what happens is one of the gang members, what happens to be, uh, part of the Bucks gang. He goes on ahead and basically knifes the guy's kneecaps to where he falls down
Oh yeah, I remember that.
and everything. I just thought that was a really smart and dirty way of fighting someone. The fight choreographies, to be honest with you, was really good
Oh yeah,
for the fight
it's really good.
fight choreography and the mixing. of what Idris Elba does to this one sheriff in this one town. That was brutal, but we'll get to that
Mhm,
later. But still,
mhm.
that scene alone was really intense.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a really good scene. Like you said, the fight choreography is really good. It's very tactile fighting. Besides the shooting, you also have a tactile fighting style as well. So yeah, they did a really great job. Um, I'm don't know what that is. I
But
guess you
get this
I
though,
guess you get spammed on here, right? Block. But yeah,
yo, you got one of the oh shoot. Yeah, I had that happen to me on my show the other night with naked whip cams.
yeah, I blocked them. Oops, I went wrong. No, it
Okay.
didn't block. But anyway, if they want to talk, oh, it went back. Anyway, I'm moving
Okay.
around scenes, but I'm just pointing out the scenes I thought were pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
So
fine.
yeah, yeah, we getting spam. Yeah, we getting spam.
That I can't stand that.
I just do that, and then whatever comes up, we'll
All right.
just do it. Yeah, but yeah,
Sounds good.
I I thought I thought so Nat Love, he's rounding up all. I guess he found out about Rufus Buck is getting out, um, and he goes into a saloon, right? And speaking of
Yeah.
diversity, you usually see a big brawny man who's at the door of the saloon and he's asking you to check your weapons. Well, it's a small woman who is disguised as a man. So she's like, check your weapons. And he's like, okay. And somebody else tried her too and was like, you're just a woman. But she kicked his ass. So really bad to the point he was
It's
embarrassed.
just
And then
strong
she's like, I said, check your weapon.
people of color.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I like just how this movie has introduced you to there's another world of diversity. Yeah, this whole cast is black, but we're gonna put women too in the forefront in powerful roles as well. So I thought it was pretty neat. But yeah,
I did
so
too,
he
to be honest with you,
yeah. Oh yeah,
because
so
the like is. Oh, sorry.
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, John.
Okay,
Mhm.
because normally we see these big old huge guys
Mhm.
at the door checking the weapons and all that stuff. To see someone that's a woman in the West checking weapons in this bar, I like its diversity. It shows that women can just be just as fierce as guys can be. Not only that, but it has like a John Wick kind of feel to it as well, because they're supposed to leave their weapons at the door. They're not even
Mhm.
supposed to bring weapons inside that saloon. The only ones that are allowed to have them are actually the employees inside the bar, the saloon itself. So I like that idea of that. And you also have Zazie Beats, who actually has a shotgun and everything, and she's also strong will as well, and that's something else I like. You have strong women who are women of color being just as dangerous as men, and that is not that's scary.
But yeah, he Nat Love, our main character, he goes into the saloon, and he is trying to talk to his former gang member slash lover, Stagecoach Mary, which is played by Zazie Beats. And like you said, she's coming with this giant shotgun, and she's kicking ass and taking names. Um, Mostly Nat Love is just he's trying to get I forgot why he went there, but eventually he found out Rufus Buck escaped, and he's just trying to get his old gang back so they can take revenge on Rufus Buck. But we also see the dangerous side, even more dangerous side of Rufus Buck when we go to the sheriff.
Yeah,
And
That
that scene, mm, I felt that
yeah,
in my
this is where they
soul.
go to Redwood City.
Oh yeah.
And and now get this, he was actually used to be a associate of Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's a sheriff his name is Willie Esco. And so has used the position to profit at the expense of the town. Buck
Mm-hmm.
brutally pistol whips him. That's
I
just putting
mean,
it lightly
brutally.
on how he. Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah. He had like these gold teeth in his mouth. Most of those teeth went out, like just puh all over the
but
ground.
but Tamika, what's bad is he got the kid to pick up the gold teeth. He goes, "Hey, you like gold? You want gold? Here you
Yeah,
go."
yeah. He telling the townspeople, get some of this gold right here that fell out his mouth. He won't need it. I was like, damn. When they get
And
it,
then he also gives him two options: either he can leave town or he can die on the ground that he lays on,
Mm, mm, mm.
showing that he's going to be the one who takes over that town.
Yeah, John, when Rufus Buck and his gang took over the town, I was thinking, okay, maybe this is like Robin Hood, where you rob from the rich and give to the poor. No, he just as bad as the mayor. He's like, okay, everybody give me your
No,
money and we're gonna whatever profit you give to us. I was like, wait a minute, I thought you came here to help these people.
no. As soon as I saw Idris Elba's character and
Yeah.
knew the kind of person he was, I was like,
Hmm.
no, he's all about self and pleasing his people. He's in it for himself. And also, too, another thing I want to mention is this: we're talking about Ballsy, right? He just
Hmm.
got out of prison. He's wearing his prison uniform for
Oh
crying
yeah.
out loud. The stripes and everything. Yeah, he
Mm,
has his. The only thing that he has on is just his pants. He just has a tank top on, but
mm.
he has a prison shirt and everything in his arms, and he's over there eating oranges, fruits, and just eating off of everybody. Like he's just
At
the
least
king
he's eating fruits,
of this town.
John. At least he's
Huh?
eating fruit. At least he's eating fruit. It's just, got
True, but
his vitamin
he acts
C
like he's
in, or he
already
kill more
the.
people.
He's acting like he's actually the king of this town before
Yeah,
he
he
actually
is.
takes over. It
Yeah.
shows male dominance over everybody,
Mm,
and
mm.
this guy is very dangerous.
Yeah, and his townspeople are like, we don't have enough money to give you. What should we do? And they're like, well, I forgot what she said, but basically it's like, well, just figure it out because we need your money. And they were saying all the town's resources barely cover the corrupt sheriff who got his mouth pistol whipped. So now they have to come up with money to supply Rufus Buck's gang while they take over this town. Oh my goodness. And
And
then one guy spoke
they
out and
raised
got
15.
shot.
Right, and on top of that, to make it, they actually raised $15,000 to save Redwood.
Mm, mm, mm. He had me fooled. That's all I'm saying. I'm just
He
thinking,
didn't have me
okay,
fooled.
he's I'm thinking, since he said get some of this gold and take home, I was like, oh, okay, maybe he's, just one of those maybe he's just one of those villains where we think he's a
He
villain,
took the guy's
but
teeth.
he let the kid take it so that he can get some food, and I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. But
I
and then
I wouldn't
then
want
the
that.
sheriff was corrupt. He was corrupt anyway, so I didn't feel bad for him getting pistol whipped and all his teethuses over the ground. But anyway, yeah, so we see Nat Love just establishing his gang and exacting revenge on Rufus Buck because they're the top rivals. And another thing that really stood out to me was just the town. Like we're talking about African American cowboys and girls, but you also see a black town where it's just all black. The whole town is all black. There's black banks, black this, black that, blah blah blah. We also see some hint of racism, which is later on in the movie, but racism seems to be like
The
um
key factor.
it's not a main component.
No,
No, but it's
no,
there, so it reminds you there is still racism involved, even though we have all black um gang and we have an all black town. There's still racism, but I like that it wasn't prevalent, is what I'm trying to say. That we can still
right.
focus
Because
on Rufus and Nate.
right, because I feel like there's enough country western movies where it covers the racism to the
Mhm,
point where you don't need to actually show it
mhm,
because this is a new way of telling a story. It's telling through the lenses of Black African Americans instead of white Americans and everything that we've always gotten, which they always play the racism narrative. But this one,
mhm.
they don't. They show the lenses through African Americans, someone of color, something that I appreciated. And I'm glad that they actually told the story like that. Now, as far as the set pieces go, as far as the town goes, I wish that they would have made it a little bit more lively
Just like the
in a
standard
sense,
Western
because
town.
yeah, because the town to me just felt like it wasn't alive. I didn't get the vibe. It felt like the saloons, the stores and stuff was like empty. There was like nothing there to amplify anything that was in town that was worth taking over. There was nothing that was there in the shops. There was nothing. It was like emptiness.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, it just looked like a bunch of set pieces from
Right.
those old spaghetti westerns. Yeah, yeah, it
Right.
did.
From the Wild Wild West and all that stuff.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I was trying to figure out because they do show the white side of town was that lively.
I
It
have
was
to
definitely
remember.
more
I have to
cleaner.
might go
I
back.
will I will say that it was more cleaner, which you can probably put that into the argument that you
True.
can see that the African American towns lack resources and they barely had enough.
I didn't think about it like that.
But the white towns, like that bank was clean. The bank they went to rob, which we'll later on explain. It was more cleaner. So I don't know. We can put that in there.
So let's talk about U.S. Marshal Bass Reeves, which is played by one of the actors from Gone in Seconds.
That's not the only thing he's known for, John.
That's all I remember him from. I'm sorry. That's like the only thing I can remember
I
him
think
from.
that's
Okay, I have a bad memory. The only thing I remembered him from was
that's
Gone in 60 Seconds.
Del Rey Lindo, right?
Yeah,
So Del Rey Lindo was in Malcolm X. Malcolm X, John.
that's right.
Remember? He was
Yes, I remember Malcolm X.
yeah, Malcolm
That's a
X.
3 hour movie to me. That's a 3 hour movie.
But you do not forget that character, okay?
That's true.
He
That's
was in
very true.
Malcolm X. He was in a movie called Crooklyn with Spike Lee. Um, anyway, he was in a slew of films. Okay, but go ahead. Yes. Gone in 60
But
seconds.
But anyways, he's the U.S. Marshal. He comes up inside the same building where Love is at,
The saloon. Yeah.
and the woman at the door is also telling him, "Hey, you need to remove your guns." He goes, "Oh, I'm gonna walk in here anyways." So he does, and then Jazzy Beats has the shotgun in her hand, ready to go and fire at him. And then, of course, he winds up taking Love out of the saloon,
hmm
arrests him in front of everybody, and you're thinking that's it. You're thinking that's going to be the end of that whole entire environment and stuff like that. No, that's a whole saloon comes after them, and that's when they wind up regaining Love back from him and overpowers the U.S. Marshal, which I find very interesting.
Yeah, because this U.S. Marshal, he could hold his own. If he has a shotgun pointed at him, he's like, well, you point that at me, I'm gonna kill him, and then you're gonna kill me too, but he'll be dead. So he could hold his own. Like you said, it's just really shocking that he was overpowered.
Right. And also the name of the person that's at the door, the woman that we talked about, her name is Cuffy.
Oh yeah, Cuffy. Yes, Cuffy. That's right.
But arrive, and they, of course, joining, they encounter Esco, who tells them Buck has returned to Redwood. Fields volunteers to scout Redwood under the cover of offering to buy Smith's saloon. Love proposes marriage to Fields, but she turns him down. I
Yeah.
have that in my notes.
Yeah, that was interesting. Like Zaza Beats, who plays Stagecoach Mary, and Nat Love, they definitely have a cantankerous, passionate love affair. It's like they hate each other, yet they love each other, and they can't be away from each other. Clearly, he's more
It's
in
like I
love with
love
her than she is with him, I think.
more like separation anxiety.
Yes,
And then once
yes,
you get
like
enough,
yeah, they're each other's drug. Like you said, he had proposed to her, and she's like, "Nah, that's okay."
exactly, I'm gonna go on ahead, have my shotgun. I'm gonna go your way, you go my way. We don't go in between.
Mhm. And of
But
course, he messed it up, so that's why she don't trust him.
right. But when Fields arrives in Redwood, Smith winds up taking her prisoner and beats her. Now, what did you
Mhm.
think of how violent this scene was?
Oh, you're talking about their plan to get
Because in my
into.
notes I said beats her, but that's an understatement of how bad she gets beaten.
Oh, you're talking about Regina King's character.
Yeah, when
Oh, yeah, their plan to get
Fields,
into.
right, when Smith,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah, that was a dumb plan, I have to tell you. The plan with
yeah,
Nat Love and his gang was, we're gonna have Stagecoach Mary pretend like she's gonna sell us out. And she's gonna go to Rufus and his gang, and she's like, "Yo, I don't trust Nat Love. I want to join you guys. I got some real estate, blah blah blah. Maybe we can do some business deals." But of course, they're like, "Are you dumb? You think we're stupid?" And then they just like, like you said, beat the crap out of her. I don't know if that was part of the plan, but that went south. Got the crap beat out of her. Was that part of the
but
plan?
I'm with you.
What? She got and it was by a woman, she got pistol whipped in the mouth, which it seems like the theme of this movie, to get pistol whipped in the mouth.
Everybody gets pistol whipped.
Yeah, yeah, everybody gotta take their licks, male, female.
I
So I
mean,
don't know
come
if
on, this
that
Idris
was
Elba's character is
distraction.
a whole lot smarter than they gave him credit for. He can sense something coming a mile away. To
Yeah,
be with you, too quick.
yeah, she did.
Usually people will go, they'll have a drink with the person, try to gain their trust. Not her. She goes, I don't trust this person. Next thing
Yeah,
you
she's like,
know, Idris
"Hey,
Elba's
hey,
like,
how
what's
y'all
up? I know
doing?"
you're up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like you said, you gotta kind of smooth it out, kind of throw them off. Like, what they doing here? I don't trust them, but they look relaxed. You just bust in there like, "Hey, how y'all doing? Listen, I don't like Nat Love, like y'all don't, but I got a business venture we can get into." No, I'm not a spy. What are you talking about? Oh no, I got bust in the mouth. See, that's just too soon. Too
Fake
soon.
news.
Very fake news. Come on now. And like they said, you think we stupid? You don't think Nat sent you? Dumb.
See, I've been waiting for that Tameka moment.
What are you talking about? That was dumb. I was like, what is she doing?
It was.
Jeez,
It was dumb. It was
she is
very dumb.
not smooth at all. No, the mission failed in this instance. But yeah, now he was like, "Oh, she got bust in the mouth. Okay, well, I have to go in sooner than I expected."
Right.
Dumb.
Now they have to.
Anyway,
Now it turns into a rescue mission.
yeah, yeah, and then now she's a damsel in distress, which I didn't like. I was like, okay, we showing strong females, and then we're just gonna make them weak
Time to
again.
railroad tracks.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't like that. That played with my mind a little bit.
No.
But anyway,
Right.
yeah,
And
so it turns into a rescue mission, like you said, where Nat Love comes in and he's got to save his girl, not his girl that hates him, but he's still in love with her and wants to marry her. Um, he comes in with his gang. One of his gang members, which I forgot the name, but he seemed really enamored with Cherokee Bill. He was like, "Oh, I'm the fastest gunslinger. I can beat Cherokee Bill." And when he comes face to face with Cherokee Bill kind of blows him off. He's like, not today. And he just walks past him. He's like, what the? Oh, oh, I thought we were gonna shoot. I need to prove myself. What he walk past me for? Oh my god, I love you. You know, we're just enamored with the guy. I thought that was pretty cool.
definitely. And then, of course, what winds up happening is Smith. Um, he turns and asks Bucks to release Fields. Buck demands Love return the money he stole plus
Mhm.
$10,000 as interest, requiring him to rob a bank in a white town.
Yeah,
Love and Cuffy rob the bank without killing anyone and escape. However, the group recognizes that Buck is unlikely to release Fields willingly, so they devise a plan to rig a decoy wagon with dynamite.
yeah, yeah. And so we were talking about Cuffy in that plan. She had to dress as a damsel, like a woman, basically. And like we said, she wore very masculine clothing, probably for protection too. But yeah, she had to dress in the full garb, like the long dresses you see in the westerns. And the plan was for her to come in and quietly rob the bank. But it didn't turn quiet because she kind of freaked out, I think, and somebody was laughing at her, and she just pulled a gun out and said, "Give me the fucking money." And then, of course, Nat Love had to come in and say, "Hey, give us the money. Yeah, we know we're black and we're robbing you, but give us the money." So anyway, yeah. But I thought that was pretty God, stupid Rufus Buck. I thought that was pretty genius. Like, okay, you're gonna give me my money back, but you're gonna give me extra. I'm gonna put double on it for all the
Right.
trouble you caused me. But I thought that was pretty genius because he didn't think they were gonna get out. I don't think he thought they were gonna get shot.
No, no, they thought that there was no way in hell that they had a chance of getting out of there.
Oh yeah.
So the little add-on interest was basically him laughing in their faces. It's like, you know what? Just in case they do make it out alive, I'm gonna put $10,000 extra on it, on the principle of it.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's the genius of it. Of the fact is, he wasn't sure if it was gonna work or get paid off on it. He was just doing it for shits and giggles and see what happened.
Mhm. Yeah. Pretty
And so
much.
happened to be they wind up getting out. So, as a matter of fact, you can even see the expression on his face, like, what the hell?
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like, we
Well.
weren't even supposed to make it out of there alive. It was supposed to be basically an ambush of white people killing them,
Yeah.
if you think about it. And
Yeah.
then Idris Elba's character running off into the sunset while the other ones got whacked.
Mhm. Mhm.
And instead, they wind up surviving it. And that also, if you look at the expression on Idris's face, he's shocked beyond belief that they got away alive.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, they came back and they're like, "Hey, we back. We got your money." No, that money was really in there. Like, "We got your money." I think there was a gunfight, and
Yeah,
I
there
think
was.
one of Rufus Buck men killed Nat Love's men, which turned into, oh, you killed my brother or my friend. And then all of a sudden it was like, I'm just gonna blow up this wagon sooner. So all Rufus's money just got blown up, and you can see it in his eyes. Like they literally showed just like burnt money. There's like a reflection in his eyes, like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna fuck some shit up now. They done blew up my money, which I thought that was pretty genius, but I would have kept some of that money too. I don't know if I would have blown it up, but that's just me.
I would too. I would have actually kept some of the money before I blew it up.
Yeah,
You know.
yes, yes, but yeah,
But if
um,
you think they like the Robin Hood because they don't give money to the poor, they just went on and blew it up because they're rich because they have family.
I guess so. The scene, what? The scene, so the scene with Rufus talking to Trudy, Regina King's character, I I thought they dated or there's something between them. They have some type of intimacy between them that I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't know if she was in love with him or that maybe they were in love with each other at some point. But yeah, I wanted that explored more. But they just kind of
that
threw
needed
it
to
in.
be explained a lot more, to be honest.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Cuz basically she looks up to him like you're our leader and we'll follow you to the pits of hell, basically. But yeah,
Let's
yeah, go ahead.
no. Go on ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just like jumping around, scene to scene. But
It's good.
what were you gonna talk about?
I was just going to talk about how Fields is freed by Cuffy and pursues Smith, who she defeats in a hand-to-hand fight. The hand-to-hand fight was really good. The fight choreography with that and the way that they were able to move around with it and stuff like that. And it has so much range, so much emotion to it that I
Mhm.
felt like the payoff for that was good, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, and then there was a fight with the women, Stagecoach, Mary and Trudy, I believe is her name, Regina King's character, which I thought was pretty violent and good. I think it was in the barn. So there was lots of
Yeah,
shooting and like I said, there was knife to knife combat going on there. It was really awesome, especially to see women do that. It makes it 10 times cooler for me.
definitely.
Mhm. But
And
yeah.
also, too, then of course Pickett is shot in the back. Bill, who subsequently killed by Cuffy in a quick draw confrontation, like you mentioned. Love
Mhm,
finds Buck, who's unwilling to defend himself. Buck reveals that they are half brothers.
mm,
That's
mm,
where the
mm.
big plot twist happens.
Tell you, John, when I
You
found that
really feel
out,
like that was
yeah, when I found that out, I was like, "What the bleep? Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that was gonna come." And then, he's like, "Oh, I carved in your forehead when you were 11, so you be reminded of who you really are." Bitch, why you gotta carve in my head? Why can't you? And you killed our dad? Well, you can't send me a card? Remember who you are. You don't have to carve a cross in my head. Darn. Jeez. Made no
send you a
sense.
card.
Yeah, send me a
I'm
card
sorry I
or
killed
something.
our parents. My bad. Love
Yeah.
you. Love you, bro.
Remember who you are. Man, please. And he wanted him to kill him too, I
Love you,
think.
bro. Didn't mean to kill our parents, but
Yeah, sorry I killed our parents. My bad.
that's my bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like he wanted to die. I feel like Rufus wanted to die. So yeah, it was very strange. You don't really see the villain come unprepared. but he was pretty much just egging them on, like, kill me. So I don't know if he had any guilt for killing their dad or not.
I don't think so. I don't think
Mm,
that he had any guilt at all. You know,
mm-hmm.
because if he did, they didn't show it. He didn't show it.
Yeah.
He
I
knew
don't know why
exactly
he
what
just
he was doing.
gave up like that. It was so weird. But anyway, he shot him, basically.
Right, and
After
then
he
Black reveal. Right.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Then of course also too the father was also an abusive outlaw. We also find that out too. He's not as innocent as he makes it out to be.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, a preacher outlaw. Mhm.
And to me, I
Right.
wish they would have actually showed that a little bit at the very beginning to show him being abusive towards other women, and then
Mhm.
cut into him in present day.
Yeah, because
But
we're
that's just
throughout the
me.
movie, we're thinking, "Well, why did he kill that poor preacher?" Goodness. What was the purpose of that? Why would anybody wanna kill this, poor preacher and his wife and then, like, mutilate the son? So, but like you said, it was all revealed later on. But there could have been a few extra scenes in the beginning that kind of um explained a little bit more. But everything was kind of jumbled up and explained at the end and tied. Any loose ends were kind of tied up in the end.
Right.
Hmm.
So overall, what did you think of the film?
I like the film. I I really like I said, it was one of the few films, outside of Posse. There was a 1993 film, Posse, that was a all-black cast plus Stephen Baldwin. Um, he was with the gang. He was the token white guy of the gang. Yeah, it was 1993, so it gave me that vibe too. But yeah, besides Posse, this was one of the few films where there's an all black cast that's is set in the West. So I really liked it. I hope that there's more films like that that can come out. Um and diversity where they can show that women cannot just be damsels in distresses. They can be villains and they can be heroes as well. And entrepreneurs like Stagecoach Mary who has her own saloon. So I
Right.
like
It
yeah.
shows right. It shows independence. It shows that there are more to them than just being the dazzle in distress. And I know I
Mhm.
said being tied to a railroad track, but that's
Yeah.
basically what we get from those old timey kind of country western movies where they would tie the woman up to the railroad tracks and the train winds up coming.
Mhm. Mhm.
But
Yeah.
you have strong-willed women in this movie. You have entrepreneurs, like you mentioned. This movie is good. The action sequences are good. There might be a few little negatives that I had, but other than that, though, I had fun watching it. I think it would be very interesting if they ever did something else with it.
Yeah, yeah, because toward the end of the movie, Nat, um, I think he just comes out of retirement and is like, "Hey, let's just go rob some more stuff." And him and Stagecoach Mary and the sheriff. Now the sheriff's an outlaw. Go figure. So him, the sheriff, and Stagecoach Mary, they go, and I think Cuffy and the other guy that's left, they go their separate ways as well. Yeah, yeah, but yeah. So, um, yeah, it's a good movie. The soundtrack is amazing. It has the same elements as Django, how each song was specifically picked to describe the scene that's coming up in the film. So yeah, I liked it. Um, I hope that there'll be more films like this that comes out because there were African American cowboys and cowgirls um in this time period. So yeah, I give it A, to be honest. But yeah, so that's, I guess that's the end of our show then. Just wrap it up real quick. But yeah, this film's on Netflix, so be sure to check it out. I think it's still in the top 10 of Netflix. So check this film out. Hopefully there'll be more African American Western films and all black cast because we have not seen it since 1993 Posse. And check out Posse too because that stars Mario Van Peebles. So yeah, and Stephen Baldwin, the token white guy. But yeah, so um, John, I'll do some of your tags for you if you want me to.
Okay. That would
Yeah,
be great.
yeah. So John is from Movie Lovers Unite. Um, he can be found on Facebook on the Movie Lovers TV Lovers Unite, and on Twitter at Movie Lovers Unit. He's also on Instagram, right? Movie Lovers Unite, right? And
Movie
Twitter.
lovers, TV lovers unite over there.
Okay. Yeah. Basically just look for Movie Lovers, TV Lovers Unite, or Movie Lovers Unite on all social media platforms and also on Goodpods. John is on that too. On a Movie Lovers Unite. Movie Lovers TV Lovers Unite or movie, yeah, okay.
No,
So
just movie lovers unite.
Movie Lovers Unite on Goodpods and all streaming platforms really. Apple, you're on Google, wherever else you can
iHeartRadio,
find.
Pandora.
Yep,
Yep.
Pandora,
All the
all of
big
them.
mainstreams.
Yes. And we, Two Blurred Girls podcast, we are on Facebook on the Two Blurred Girls podcast. We're on Twitter at Blurred Two Girls. We're on Instagram at Two Blurred Girls underscore podcast. We are also on YouTube, Two Blurred Girls Podcast, and Twitch, Two Blurred Girls Podcast. We also have an audio podcast, which is on Apple under Two Blurred Girls Podcast. It's on Google. We're on iHeartRadio. We're on Audible and Anchor and many more streaming platforms. So yeah, so thanks John for coming and filling in and talking about The Harder They Fall, which we
Thank you
both
for
love.
having me as always. I do appreciate
Yeah,
this.
totally. Awesome. But yeah, be sure to catch us, I think, next week. Um, I'll be here. We'll see if John will be here too, but I'll be here. And we'll talk about something else. But yeah, just make sure you follow and subscribe us on our um social media pages, and you'll see what upcoming show we'll have next. So yeah, until then, we'll see you next Friday.
See ya.